Hello, everyone. After studying the Sustainable Packaging and Product Innovation course, we will move on the practical part in this video. We are going to walk throughout 10 practical exercises about sustainable packaging and product innovation. This exercise designed to help you move from theory to practice. Instead of memorizing definition, you will learn different part of the course, but in practical side. Each exercise focuses on specific part of the course, uh, from sustainable materials and regulation to life cycle assessment to food loss reduction, value addition, marketing, and marketing and use of the packaging. I will explain what you are expected to do for the exercises, and then you will provide the correction. You will provide solution for different question for each exercise. So let's begin. About first exercise about identifying sustainable packaging and objectives. That's concern the first part of exercise, such as fundamental of sustainable packaging. As you can see in the introduction of the exercise, with this table about packaging sustainable objectives, with the description of each objective and indicator for each objective that we are detailed in the course. So for this exercise, you select a common food product such as yogurt, bottle, juice, bread, loaf, for example, and then identify the main sustainable objective of its packaging. For that, we have introduced these figures such about sustainable packaging criteria with different with a number about course. For the first question, what are the main function of the package for the selected product? For example, an example for to answer, for example, would be a protection of the food, ensuring safety, extending shelf life, for example, and you will adapt your solution, your answer to the choose product. For the question number two, which sustainable objective and highest priority and why? For example, if you choose yogurt, you will be talk about food product protection, recyclability, maybe the priority, and then if you choose another product, you will define your answer. Third question, what conflicts may arise between sustainable and product protection? For example, reducing materials thickness, and you will give more answers, more solution, more explain for your response about this question. But question number four, how could the eco design improve this packaging? And we will for this we have the base of response and course, and then you will adapted your answers regarding your product choose. For example, eco-design could simplify materials, reduce inks, and improve recyclability of your product. For the last question about how would consumer expectation influence your decision, you will develop your response about consumer increasingly expect recyclable and question and about environmental impact, eco-labeled, for example, for labeling for your product. You will give your response regarding your product chosen. Let's move to exercise number two. such as a comparison about eco-friendly material between eco-friendly materials. And then in this table, as you can see, we have different materials that we use in the fabrication or on production of the packaging, such as polyethylene terephthalate and polylactic acid and cardboard. For these three materials, as highly used in the industry of plastic, that you will analyze this three product and you will respond to different questions regarding the materials, coordination of your materials to the product. It here on this exercise, you will compare these materials and then respond to different questions. For the first question, which materials performs best for environmentally? For example, you will define your answers with comparison between different materials with this characteristic that's of each one of these materials. And you have also to define your answer, this figure of characteristic of analysis of your materials, and then the importance of the use of these materials for plastic or bioplastic development. For the second question, how does food shelf life influence material choices? Here, for example, fresh produce needs good barrier properties, for example, and then you will develop your proper answer for this second question. For third one, what role does local waste infrastructure play? You will develop your question. For example, if composting facilities are absent, for example, or compostable materials lose their advantage, or for the use of the cardboard, for example, for with this using this characteristic. And for the fourth question, why might less sustainable materials still be chosen? And then you will define why you can with the based also on this criteria of this table, and you will answer this question. For the last question for this exercise, how could you hybrid packaging solution help? For that, you will use the course, for example, and use also this figure and the table to respond to your question. For example, combining materials can balance performance and sustainability property of the packaging. That is all for this exercise. Let's move for third one. About this exercise, objective is analysis of regulatory side of relative to packaging. That's it's for that's it's equivalent to part number one, such as regulations and compliance regulatory. This exercise teaches you to check compliance with the packaging laws. For example, for this table, we develop different requirements, for example, recyclability labeling and APR registration for each type of packaging. And you have also the figure about European packaging waste regulations with last data, as you can see in the European policy packaging website. For this exercise, we have also 5 questions. First question is about most criteria regulations. What are these most criteria? For example, the European Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive is a central. We'll have more details in course, so we will use the course to respond to this question and also the figure and the table. For the second question, what risks arise from non-compliance? And for third one, how is responsibility and under APL chains? Fourth question, how do regulation encourage circular economic practice? And then you will develop your, for example, solution such as by setting recycling targets and eco-design requirement, for example, and then use uh, all data of this table and figure. Uh, for the last question is about how we make regulations evolve the future. You will define your answer using structure, for example, recyclability rules and reduced single-use packaging, use the eco-design, for example, for some type of packaging. Let's move to exercise number 4 about the selection of the material for the best. That is one of the best questions that are asked in the industry of trends for industry. And for this exercise, you will analysis, you apply a weighted matrix to select the packaging using the figure about eco-design characteristic, and then a table such as decision matrix. You have different criteria with different variables for each criteria. For the first question, which materials has the highest total score? So based on the information, you will easily respond to this question. And then for some second one, how does weight and influence the final decision? For third question, would you choice change for export markets? And then you will develop for your answer regarding the export market. You have some response and exercise, but also on course. For question number 4, what additional criteria could be included, such as consumer perception, labeling, for example, compatibility, marketing, or logistic? You will develop your answer regarding this axis that are studied on course. How does food safety, for the last question, how does food safety affect sustainable decision? Regarding food safety, always overraise, for example, sustainability preferences. And then you will develop your answer regarding this exercise. For the exercise number 5, it's about water use reduction and food processing. And we have a big chapter in our course about the water use in the industry and waste management. The objective of this exercise is to analyze water consumption in the fruit, juice, processing plant, and propose improvement measurement. As you can see, we have this table number 4, and we have a link to a website to consult for more information from FAO website. And this table about water consumption analysis, we have different water from processing step by step. For example, for step of washing, for step of processing, and for step of cleaning, with the quantity of water that we use for this different step, and then the reduction opportunity that we have using some technologies such as filtration, closed loop, reuse, and optimization. For this analysis, we have this question about, for the first question, which process step consume most water? You will use the information and table to respond easily for this question. And then what technology can reduce the water use? How does water efficiency contribute to sustainability? We have more information in course, such as lower water footprint and reduced environmental impact. You will develop your proper answer using this information and course. For fourth question, what are the economic benefits of water recycling? And for the last question, how does water management affect regulatory compliance? For the sixth question is about waste, energy, and valorization. For this exercise, we study, evaluate sustainability and anaerobic digestion for organic food waste. One of the trend of research in laboratories and industry. This exercise evaluated organic waste valorization with different technology. In this table, we develop as you shown the waste valorization options, for example, organic waste and packaging residue, with different technology and output, as you can see. And we have this figure about waste energy pathways with different valorization of of waste. For different question, you will give answers. For example, for question number one, what type of waste are suitable for anaerobic digestion? You will define your response regarding the data of the exercise, but also for course, the information about course. We have talked about this management of the waste using anaerobic bacteria, for example, for development for different outputs, such as organic residue like peels, pulp, and food scrap. Food scraps, for example. For second question, how does waste to energy support circular economic goals? And then we will give you a vision, your response about waste becomes a resource of energy, closing materials loops, for example. And for question number three, what environmental benefit are achieved? Fourth question, what limitation exist for waste to energy solutions? And last question, why should prevention remain the priority? Preventing waste avoids impact entirely for environment or for industry in general. For the practical exercise number 7, and this exercise will develop and interpret use of different materials that are used in development of packaging, such as polyethylene phthalate and polylactic acids, with life cycle of this materials, with this impact about regarding regarding the dioxide of carbon, water, and waste, as you can see in this table, and the packaging environmental impact, and as you can see in this graph. First question, why materials has lowest carbon footprint, for example. You will analyze different, you will compare different materials, and you will give your answer. Use dioxide of carbon to respond to this question. And then for the second question, why does polyethylene phthalate have the higher water use? Polylactic acid have a higher water use or compared to polyethylene phthalate. And for third question, what trade-offs are visible for the result? Then you will talk about lower carbon may mean higher water use, for example. Fourth question, why is a life cycle essential for decision making? And for this question, you have more information in course and then exercise. For example, it prevents misleading sustainable claims. For example, you will give more answers for this question. And for last question is about how could the results change with different assumptions, that is regarding the change with recycling rates and energy source, for example. For the eighth question, it's about food loss and waste mapping. For this question, for this part, we will talk about map food, the losses along a vegetable value chain. In this table, we have a different stage for food loss mapping. with harvest, transport, retailers with different step, with different process, with and percent of for each stage, and the main causes especially. We have also indicated the website of FAO regarding global food loss infographic. And for first question, why which stage shows the highest losses for you will analyze the table and you will easily answer to this question. For the second one, what role does packaging play in reducing of food loss waste, for example? And then for third question, how does food loss waste affect sustainable? Which intervention are most cost effective? And for the last question, how can digital tools support food loss and waste mapping reduction? We have developed different digital tools and course in the last part, such as sensors, such as intelligent packaging, such as blockchain, such as traceability. You will develop your answer using this information and course theoretic information and then practical data and this exercise. Let's move for the exercise number 9 about value addition drop packaging. In this exercise is design a value added of packaging product using local ingredients. And this table, as you can see, we have different element, packaging, origin, labeling, and description of each element. We have also an indicated and the figure about agri-food value with different step of foreign food chain of chain or on food processing step by step. For this exercise, the objective for the first question, how does packaging increase perceived value? Perceived value and additional value of your product. You will give answers regarding protection of quality, sensory quality, for example, and nutrition quality of your product, attractivity of your product, sustainability of your product, for example. And then which sustainability claims added the most value? How does local sourcing influences consumers? What risks exist with the unverified claims, and how can value addition improves farmer income? For example, value added products can improve margins, for example. And then you will give more example, more answers, use information of the exercise and also the course. For the last exercise about sustainable marketing strategy, it's for the last part of our course about develop the sustainable based marketing message for the food products. The objective of this last exercise is to practice the last part of the exercise of marketing for sustainability. You create a sustainability based marketing plan using the information of this exercise. For the first question, how do consumers perceive sustainable packaging? For example, many consumers, as it's now, prefer sustainable packaging if credible, and you will give you more answers using the table and also this figure about consumer sustainable trends. It's well, and we give you that gives less trends with different aspect and axes regarding sustainable marketing strategy that are used in industry. What is a greenwashing and how can it be avoided? For this question, you will develop, for example, misleading or exaggerated sustainability claims. And then for the question number 3, why is transparency essential? You will give more your answer about this transparency between between consumer, between industry, between professionals. For example, builds trust and long-term loyalty. For the fourth question is how do digital tools support trust? You will give the answers using the analysis of this exercise, and also the course, for example, QR codes, traceability systems, and of course you have more information about all this tools. For the last question is how can sustainable strengthen brand loyalty? You will develop and create the bridge between loyalty and sustainability package and trends, emotion connection between different parts. That is all for this practical section, for this exercise that reflect the challenges faced by professionals in sustainable packaging and food systems. Focus on reason and justification and systems thinking. This exercise give more answers, more information that complete the course. Sustainability is about making a informed, balanced decision, and this exercise prepare you to do exactly that. Thank you and good luck with your practical work.